Goodbye, Miguel. Nice meeting you. Goodbye, Marta. Thanks for coming.
Bye. Don't forget our English lesson on Wednesday.
I won't. I'll be there. And why don't you come too, Miguel?
Thank you. I will. And thank you for inviting me to the party. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you again, Michael. I'll see you next Wednesday. Joanna, it was a pleasure meeting you.
Thank you. It was a pleasure meeting you and Miguel.
Good night. Well, let's sit down for a few minutes. I can clean up later.
No, let me help you.
No, that's all right. I can do it by myself in the morning.
It was a very nice party. It's too bad Paulo had to work late.
Yes, it is. But I'm glad you had a good time.
I liked your friends.
They liked you too, I could tell. As a matter of fact, you made everybody feel comfortable.
That's easy. You're a great host.
Well, you're a pretty good hostess. I was tired of giving parties by myself.
You know, when I was a teenager, I used to go to parties all the time. I enjoyed myself every minute. Parties, dances, boys.
It sounds like fun.
It was. I used to live from dance to dance. On weekends, Paulo and I never used to be home.
Paulo? I don't believe it. I thought he worked all the time, like my brother.
Your brother? I didn't know you had a brother.
It's a long story.
We have time.
Okay. How about a cup of coffee? Then I'll tell you about myself.
Let me help.
That's okay. This kitchen's too small for two. Look around. Make yourself at home.
Do you remember my idea for an art competition at the fair?
Yes. How did they like it?
Very much. In fact, they're starting a new project immediately. And guess who's in charge?
I don't know. I give up.
You give up too easily. Your brother. Who else?
Congratulations, Paulo. Now maybe you can take a few days off. You work harder than anyone else in that office.
Joanna, you don't take time off when you want a promotion.
You even eat more quickly than you used to.
Hey, I didn't ask for a lecture.
I'm sorry, Paulo. I think it's wonderful. Now tell me about the competition. What are the rules? Can Michael enter?
Michael Crawford?
Sure. He paints better than anyone I know. When does the competition start?
We won't announce a contest until Mr. Crawford finishes the brochure.
Oh, is he doing the brochure for you?
Yes.
What does his office look like?
It's large enough, and modern, and businesslike, and very formal. Too formal, perhaps. Why do you ask?
Just curious. I'm trying to imagine Michael in that office.
What do you mean?
Michael gave himself a deadline. Either he does well this year, or he gives up art and goes into business with his father.
How well is well? How is he going to measure success? Does he have to paint as well as the masters?
I don't really know. But he has to prove something to himself.
Then this competition could be his big chance.
Yes, it could.
Gary, my brother. Gary Whitney Crawford, Jr. He looks just like me, you know, Joanna. At least he used to. He's 18 months older than I am. But when we were kids, we used to wear the same clothes and pretend we were twins. Gary was the greatest brother in the world. And in many ways, he was my father, too. Dad didn't have time for me. He was too busy. Gary and I went to the same college, but that's when things started to change. He studied business. Why did he study business? Because my father wanted him to. He used to study night and day. I studied art, and I worked hard at it. But I had time for my friends, too. Gary and I saw each other less and less. When Gary graduated, he went to work for my father. He stayed at the office until late at night. He kept to himself a lot. Like my father, Gary was always busy. Then one night, Gary and my father had a terrible fight. The next morning, Gary moved out. We never saw him again. About a year ago, a college friend of mine saw Gary in London. He was with a woman and a baby. My friend was sure it was Gary. He never forgets a face.
I would like to write about two people, a man and a woman. They live quiet lives. When they go out onto the street, no one asks for their autographs. But everyone in their profession knows and respects them. They work as a team. The woman is a journalist. The man is a photographer. They met on their first job. They both worked for a famous picture magazine. She wrote the articles, and he took the photographs. The magazine sent them all over the world to cover important events. They won many awards and medals. One day the magazine went bankrupt. Many other magazines and newspapers offered them positions. But at this point, the man and the woman decided to work independently. She decided she wanted to write a book about her experiences at the magazine. He wanted to work on a photographic essay on bonsai. For once, they did not have to worry about deadlines and editors. They enjoyed their work and grew professionally. Their books were successful. When they finished their separate projects, they decided to work as a team again. Now, they are ready to go, day or night, on a moment's notice. When there are earthquakes in Honduras, they're there. When there are battles in the Middle East, they're there. When there are local tragedies, they're there too. My parents are a great team. James Yamamoto.
at all those people. They all have good jobs and houses in the country. Okay, maybe all of them don't have houses in the country, but they probably have more than you.
Laura, stop it. Don't feel so sorry for yourself. Nobody likes to get out and look for a job.
I'm getting depressed again. It's time for a change. Maybe I'll meet someone in an elevator and he'll offer me a wonderful job, and my worries will be over.
Stop it, Laura. Be realistic.
Yes, it's time for a change. I hate offices. I don't hate work. That's why I got the job with Crawford. But I don't like offices. I don't feel human in an office. I'd rather work with people than with files and typewriters. But how? I could be a real estate agent, a travel agent, anything, as long as it isn't boring. Claire's going to law school. Crawford's son, what's his name?
Michael.
Yes, he wants to be an artist. Henry Leeds likes his job. He doesn't want to do anything else. It is possible to be happy at your job. I could teach Spanish. No, I don't have the patience. I think I'd like to be my own boss. I like to sew. Maybe I could open a small dress shop. I wonder how much you need to start a shop. My head is spinning. I must be getting hungry. I'm tired, too. Maybe I'm getting a cold.
No, you're not getting a cold. You're just depressed and scared.
A dress shop. I'll have to think about that.
Would you like to order now?
Excuse me, sir. Can you tell me where the Japanese garden is?
It's quite a long walk from here. Why don't you take the fair bus? It stops right over there in the Plaza of Nations, between the statue and the fountain.
The statue? Excuse me. I don't see as well as I used to.
Hi, Mr. O'Neill.
Oh, hi, Ellie. Would you do me a favor?
Sure.
Would you take this gentleman to the bus stop over there?
Sure. Hi, where do you want to go?
The gentleman wants to go to the bus stop, Allie.
But where are you going after that?
He asks a lot of questions.
My father says I shouldn't ask so many questions. He says it's not polite. So I'm sorry, but I still want to know.
Ali, the next bus will be here any minute.
I'm going to the Japanese garden.
Are you Japanese? I'm from Iran.
I was born in Japan.
I went to the Japanese garden last week.
Did you?
Yes, it's very pretty. My mother liked it very much. I think it's too quiet there, but I'll go with you if you want.
Thank you. But if you come with me, your parents won't know where you are.
If you wait, I'll tell my parents where I'm going.
You are a good boy. Maybe some other time.
Do you come here a lot? I'm here every afternoon. My father works in that bank. That's my friend, Mr. O'Neill, the ice cream man.
Here's the bus. Goodbye, Ali. And thank you.
Marta, how did you meet Michael Crawford?
It's a funny story. One day, while I was walking down 88th Street, I tripped and fell. My packages spilled all over the sidewalk. I twisted my ankle, and I couldn't stand up.
Didn't anyone help you?
A couple was passing by and helped me pick up my groceries. They even carried them home for me. The guy was Michael.
How long ago was that?
Oh, about a year ago, I guess. Then as we were home, he mentioned he lived in the neighborhood, so I made a friend. He gives me English lessons, too.
But he's a painter, isn't he?
Yes, I think so. Why?
I'm just putting two and two together.
What do you mean?
I saw a picture of Michael on Pedro's desk.
Michael and Pedro. I didn't know they knew each other.
Neither did I, but apparently they used to be best friends.
Really? They don't seem to have much in common. What happened?
To make a long story short, Michael's old girlfriend fell in love with Pedro.
Oh, that sounds like Pedro.
No, it wasn't exactly Pedro's fault, but Michael wouldn't speak to him after that.
That's understandable.
Maybe, but it's a shame.
Well, Michael is sensitive. That's why he's so charming.
Yes, but now that Michael is seeing Joanna, I hope he'll forget Pedro.
You don't have to worry about Pedro.
I know, but I think a good friendship deserves a second chance.
So do I, but...
And Pedro needs his old friend. He's very lonely.
Lonely? Every time I see him, he's with a different woman.
Captain, would you tell me who's responsible for catching the thieves? I'd like to thank him personally.
You know him,
I do?
but I must ask you not to tell anyone who he is. He's one of our undercover men.
Certainly.
Sergeant O'Neill, would you step into my office?
Captain? Mr. O'Neill, the ice cream vendor. I don't believe it. Ali was right.
Who was right?
My son Ali. He never stops talking about Mr. O'Neill. He always says, Mr. O'Neill is a secret agent.
Sergeant, you didn't say anything to the boy, did you?
Captain, I'm sure he didn't have to. Ali is very, what's the word in English? Imaginative. He enjoys pretending to be you, Sergeant. You are his hero.
He's a fine boy.
And he loves talking to you about baseball. He keeps trying to learn, but I don't know how to play, so I can't teach him. But tell me, Sergeant, how did you know those three were thieves?
I suspected something right away. They kept walking back and forth in front of the bank. After watching them for 3 days, I knew something was going to happen soon.
Why did you wait 3 days before acting?
We needed more proof. So I started noting their movements carefully. I sold ice cream right under their noses.
I'm impressed, Sergeant, impressed and grateful. But what a shame Ali can never know he was right.
Ali, did you hear? There was a robbery at Dad's bank.
Wow, did they take a lot of money?
No, some undercover policeman at the fair caught the thieves.
I bet Mr. O'Neill did it. When I grow up, I want to be a secret agent like Mr. O'Neill.
Ali, Mr. O'Neill is an ice cream vendor.
It's been a long time.
Yes, it has.
How have you been?
Much better since I spoke to you last.
You know, Michael, I'm sorry about...
You don't have to be.
Then why are you still angry? Anyway, I am sorry.
I am too. I thought we were friends.
We were.
How's Marion?
I don't know. I haven't seen her for almost 3 years.
Didn't she stay with you?
No, I saw her for a few weeks, and then she left. She went to Florida.
Haven't you kept in touch?
No, there was no reason to. I was happy to see her go.
Then why did you...
Now, wait a minute, Michael. I didn't go looking for her. She came to me. Michael, it's over. I'm sorry. What more can I say? Let's have a beer and forget the whole thing.
Hello, Pedro. How have you been?
Okay, Michael. It's been a long time.
Are you still interested in photography?
Yes. And I've done a lot of new things. Come on. I'll tell you about them.
How's your mother? I've missed her.
She's fine. She'll be glad to see you again. She's missed you too. So has the rest of my family.
'88th Street is usually a busy street, especially during the summer. But sometimes, early in the morning, and in the heat of the afternoon, it is quiet. No, not quiet. Quieter. There are always kids playing ball. They don't seem to notice the heat, the darkness, or the passing cars. It's a street like many others. Children run and jump and fall. Parents push baby carriages. Young men and women walk slowly, arm in arm, or hand in hand. The people of the neighborhood know each other. When friends meet, they stop and say a word or two. Two women, both lost in thought, walk toward each other. As they pass, they look up, they stop, they smile. They start to speak at the same time. They laugh, happy to see each other. After a minute or two, one turns around and walks the other to her door. They stand and talk a few minutes more. Then each one takes a few steps, turns, and waves goodbye.
Sergeant O'Neill's report. At noon on June 3, 3 men bought sandwiches and ice cream and sat on one of the benches in front of the International Bank. This behavior continued on June 4 and 5. They were trying to look and act like tourists, but they obviously were not. They never smiled. They were not enjoying themselves. The suspects carefully noted the movements of each of the bank's employees. They even noted when and where I moved my ice cream cart. On June 5, at exactly 2:20, when 2 of the 4 guards were out to lunch, the 3 suspects moved toward the entrance of the bank. I immediately called for help. Then I moved the ice cream cart closer to the entrance of the bank. I wanted to be able to stop them from leaving the area. One of the suspects stood at the door of the bank. The other two entered the bank and stood in line. When they got up to the tellers, they took guns out of paper bags. Most of the people in the bank didn't know what was happening. I could see this through the windows of the bank. Meanwhile, the other non-uniformed policemen arrived. We spread out. Some went into the bank and some stood near the front. We wanted to wait until they had the money in their hands. Then we got them. It was all over in 20 seconds. I never stopped selling ice cream, although I gave one man too much change.
I like this old bar. I know it's old-fashioned. That's what I like about it. Sure, it's dark. Most bars are, but that's all right. Some things look better in the dark. Besides, you don't go to a bar to read, do you? This is a friendly place. You can get a beer on your way home from work, find some friends, relax, and forget about your kids, your job, and your mother-in-law. Times are changing, but Joe's stays the same. Oh, there's a difference. This kind of place used to be for men only. Now, everybody's welcome. If your money's good, we're glad to have you. I've been a bartender here for 30 years, and I'm still happy to come to work and see this old mahogany bar. It still makes me happy to see the liquor bottles beside the old French mirror. It's not a bad life. And you know, it's funny, I don't drink.